So there was a lot of decisions. I mean, at each step of the way, we learned something entirely new. So in the first part, we were tired of making them in our dorm room. So we didn't want to keep, making 10 bars an hour. So we realized we halted our own internal production and started looking for a co-manufacturer. So at someone else, or we'd give them the formula and they would go produce the product for us. Basically, Ollie and I wanted to just be able to focus on the marketing and selling of the business. We didn't want to have to be bogged down on big, long production days where we'd be focused on cutting up bars rather than out there actually selling the product. So that was a key decision early on, we're only going to do co-manufacturing and we're going to get there as quickly as we can. After that, we basically went to go find one. It took us a while, a couple of 18, 19-year-olds trying to get someone to produce a couple thousand bars for us when the typical was a 50,000 unit order with 3 SKUs minimum, when we had 1 SKU looking for maybe 2,000 bars. So eventually, after like 100 or so phone calls, we found the right people to work with us in Spokane, Washington. They've been great partners ever since. And then some of the other decisions in terms of go-to-market. So that was a lot more influenced by almost, I would say, like our little bit of naivety. We saw other bars in stores, so we thought, of course, let's sell these in stores. So we started going up and down the street and selling the bars, got into as many stores as we could. Now we're in about 1,000 locations around the country, but what we realized along the way was that there are probably cheaper ways to go to market. Stores are expensive to get your product on the shelf. There's a lot of marketing and selling and like those costs associated with getting it on the shelf, shipping and logistics. There's so many different added costs that are baked into getting our product into your local retailer. When there's good paths to online distribution, there's food service, there's all these different channels that we could have explored earlier on. So I'd say that was, in hindsight, something I wish we would have known a little bit more about, rather than just going to what seemed right. But over time, we raised some money to help scale, and then raised a little bit more, and then we realized, all right, we need a little bit more profitable channels. So that was a key decision, probably midway through, where we decided to focus more on offices, like snacks for employees, because offices were paying for the bars, and consumers, the employees, were able to try them for free, which helped sales, in retail and other markets that we're currently selling in. So that was another key decision, to start looking for more profitable channels, focus a bit more online and in food service, rather than just going full force into retail distribution until we were a little bit more solidified. So another major decision we made a little bit more recently was the full rebrand. So we used to be Newgrounds Foods coffee bars. Now we are Eat Your Coffee, caffeinated snack bars. So on our old packaging, we used to have an Eat Your Coffee insignia that was like on the front. It looked a little different than this, but it said it right there, big in letters, and that's what consumers would call our product. They didn't call it Newgrounds Food coffee bars. They're like, oh, those Eat Your Coffee bars. And we're like, oh, okay, if that's what you're gonna call it. It messaged the product a lot more easily. They enjoyed the sound of Eat Your Coffee. It stood out a lot more on shelf. So we decided to make that kind of a big part of the packaging. And so far, it's been very helpful for our sales. Since we did that, we've basically doubled our sales since then, that decision. So I think there's a lot of things when you look back on your business, it makes sense at the time, and then you kind of move on, and you have to continue to iterate and continue to make tough decisions, and sometimes bring in people that are outside the company to help you with those decisions.